Ryan with Miss.Geek here, and you may have noticed that the last 4 instances were kind of all shot at once and then split up into separate sections. And they resulted in this. So we've got all the capacitors, all the diodes, the PA transistors, and the TCXO installed. And the next step is to install T1. Now, if you look carefully in the manual, you'll notice that T1 it can be built 2 different ways. And basically it's the same, but we can do 3 windings on the secondary if you're going to use 9 volts to power this. But if you're going to use 12 volts, or I did check with Hans, and it's good up to 13.8 or 14 volts nominal, then you need to install 2 windings, so you'll be transfer less power to the PA. So that's what we're going to do in this video, is install 2 windings, and you can see where all the windings will end up here. So I believe this is the primary here and here, and the secondary here. I may have those backwards. Doesn't matter. We're going to follow the directions and wind this transformer. So this transformer, they call it a binocular transformer. It's a BN, that's more means binocular 43-202. So it's a ferrite transformer here, or former. So the first step, and I'm glancing at the manual as I talk here. First step is to unwrap it. Now, for this, I've got some, I like to use tweezers to do these things. Let's see here. Here we go. And I stole these from my wife with her permission when she was still with us. All right. And I think these are originally for plucking eyebrows. Precision beauty. Ooh. Lord knows I need them to pluck my eyebrows. Got the whole unibrow thing going. All right, let's see. This one is, there we go. All right, so let's just unravel this mess. Could have done that a lot cleaner, but oh well. And what I like to do is grab one end with a pair of pliers and just run it at a slight angle through my thumb and forefinger where I'm squeezing on it pretty hard there. And these last bits are going to be difficult, but we'll just do our best. Probably won't even need them, but there we go. You can see I indented my finger there, pulling pretty hard. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is just put a bend in this, bend this over like so, and I'm going to thread this through. I'm going to leave about 1 inch hanging out here, which is, Hans says, a centimeter. I can't remember how many centimeters are in an inch. I think it's 2.5 centimeters per inch, roughly. So I'm just going to leave about 1 inch hanging out. That can't be bad, I don't think. And pull this through. And so this is half of a turn. So now we're going to go through the top from left to right, and so that's step 2. Actually, this is step 3. Pass the wire through the top hole of the binocular core from left to right. This is the next half turn, bringing the number of turns so far to 1.5. So really, this is 1 turn because we have both wires going through both sides. So this is equivalent of 1 turn, and now we have 1.5 turns. There we go. All right, now, step 4 is we're going to pass this wire back through the bottom, but we're going to leave a loop here. Step 5 is to wind the wire through the top hole of the binocular core and the bottom hole. So here's step 5, top. Oops. All the way through. There we go. And bottom. And that was easy. And step 6 is to squeeze these two to prevent confusion further down the road. Done. Step 7 is to turn the secondary winding. And I think there could be a step here for doing this. So that's our primary. So start the 3-turn secondary winding by pushing the wire from right to left through the bottom hole of the binocular core. And then from left to right through the top hole. So this is a secondary winding we're starting here. So we'll go through the bottom. And I'll just leave this out here. And then the top. That's 1 turn. There we go. And step 8 is to push the wires through the holes 2 more times to create the second turn. However, this one, I'm only going to, it does say do 3 turns total, but I'm only doing 2 turns here because I've decided ahead of time that I am going to be powering this. I'm just double checking the instructions here. I'm going to be powering this with 12 volts. So on page 3, I believe it is, of the instruction manual, it says to do only 2 turns. Yeah. So I'm only wanting 2 turns. So that's 1. I've got my 1 turn here. And here's 1.5. And here is my second turn on the secondary. Okay, so there we have T1 is wound. It's that easy. Now, if I was going to power this with 9 volts, I would wind 1 more winding on the secondary. So I would have kept going with 1 more through the top, or bottom and top. But I stopped there because I'm actually not going to do that. So let's continue on. And by the way, my hesitation you hear in my voice is just me double checking my work. I don't want to do this twice. I don't think I have more of this wire, and I really don't like resoldering stuff, inductors. Resoldering inductors stinks. All right, and so now we'll just trim these according to the picture of the manual, try to make it look relatively the same here. So we're getting ourselves to step 8, not worrying about perfection as we go, just making it look about right. Okay, so there we have, so now we are at step 8. Step 9 says bend all the wires to point downward in the position they will need to be to fit through the holes in the PCB. So that's going to be downward here, and all these also downward. Although I think we could put these a little bit closer together. There we go. Now cut the center tap loop. Hopefully, as minor in this photograph, those two wires formed by cutting loop are longer than the two ends of the secondary turn so that you cannot mix anything up. Well, that's a good idea. All right, so let's cut this one a little bit shorter. And then we'll cut these a little bit longer. And those went flying. All right. Insert the wires into the holes in the PCB. The two wires that belong to the center tap of the 3-turn, which are the longer wires, are inserted to the middle hole, the right-hand side. And that hole's larger. Right. Okay, so let's grab the PCB here and get these wires in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do this progressively. First, I'm going to get these two in. In fact, let me get you some magnification. And I'm just going to try to get these two at the bottom in first. There's one, and patience will be the key here. There's two. Okay. So I got these two in. You can see they're sticking through the bottom. Now, the next thing is going to be the two longer ones. And these are where tweezers come in. In fact, I might have to do these first because of nope. There we go. So I get both of them in. Yep. Okay, those are in. And now, which one of these is longer? They're about the same. So what I'll do is just push the whole thing down a bit. And guide one in. Or attempt to do so anyway. Okay. And then the other, just barely get them in there if I can. And give it a push, see what happens. These aren't really coming through here. Yeah, that one's not in. There we go, that one's in now. And what we'll do is give this a little bit of a twist so it's straight in the hole. And then give it a push. There we are, they're all in. And we can, if we want, we can even grab pliers and pull them tight, but I don't think we really need to do that. Doesn't say to do that, and here I am doing it anyway. All right, so we've got those all in. So that's step 11, and that is definitely fiddly. If you're having problems with it, maybe if you have any issues with manual dexterity, just take it slow, guys. And a tip you could do here is make these all unequal lengths. Like these two middle ones, like I could have made this one here longer than this one so that I wouldn't have to worry about getting them in both at the same time. I could have made this one just slightly longer, and that would have probably helped a little bit. So I would get the middle in, and then this one because it's longer, and then this one because it's shorter. And then just twist them, give them this little twist right here so that they're straight down into the PCB. That's the part that really helped me get that final bit. Step 12 says, now we need to get the enamel off of the wire. Usually on the thinner wire, I hold the soldering iron to the wire until the enamel burns off, but that doesn't work so well on thicker wires such as this. So my technique here is to scrape the enamel off, at least partially, using wire cutters. The correct pressure needs to be applied to the wire cutter so as to not actually cut the wire. Hold the wire as close to the PCB as possible, then gently but firmly pull the cutter away from the PCB, scratching off the enamel. Turn the cutter to a different angle and scrape again 2 or 3 times. It is not necessary to remove all the enamel. If you get a few good scrapes on, enough enamel will be removed that the soldering iron heat will burn off the rest of the enamel and a good joint will be achieved. Do this for the 4 winding ends first, leaving the 2 center tap for later to make it easier. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and just look at, okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm going to carefully grab and just scrape. And just so you know, this is the first time I've done it this way. I've always burned it off. Always. Without any doubt. Even on thicker stuff. So, this is the first time I'm doing it this way, so you get to watch me mess up. Now, I am applying very little pressure there. Just enough to get a little bit of a grip on it. And then I'm pulling upward. All right, I think that's goodish. They're definitely not as dark as they were. And now he says, cut each of the 4 inner wires, leaving 2 millimeters or less. So I'm just gonna cut these. I'm not a millimeter guy, so I'm gonna cut these about so they look about like they do in the manual. There we go. And solder. And it says that each pad hold the soldering iron firmly, apply plenty of solder, and wait for about 10 seconds. This will ensure good connection, and any remaining enamel will be burned away. All right, so I'm going to set this down on the bench, and I'm going to try to get it flat on the bench. And let's see here. My phone just said that the light on it is overheating, so it has stopped giving me extra light. So I'll have to rig up some more lights for subsequent videos. But I will just try to do this as is. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, now the other ones, I did leave that one. I left this one, this one here a little bit shorter than I would have liked, but what I can do to fix that is just grab my tweezers and feed in a little more through. I think should be able to do that. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's do these other two. Get some solder in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. There we go. And moving to the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I try to keep this in the frame here. 9, 10. All right. And of course, check my solders, see if they're good. And I don't like them at all. not compared to the other ones, especially. There we go. And it decided to turn back on. That's great. All right. So those look pretty okay, I think. That one still irks me just a little bit. But we'll check for continuity, and we'll maybe crank up the heat on the iron if the continuity does not check well. So the next step is, let's see, that was all right, so this one, it says 15. It's basically the same process, but it's 15 seconds. So we're gonna go ahead and, I guess, individually scrape them. Oops, sorry, I'm not keeping that in frame in my mind. I apologize. Really try to work on that. It's one thing to build, but man, documenting it, I have to admit, is less easy than you might think. Okay, and this is cut these to 2 millimeters also, so I will cut these to about 2 millimeters. There we go. And I am going to crank up the heat just a little bit on this. From 380 to 400 centigrade. Try to get a nice solder blob going on this, because that's really what takes care of it. It's not the iron so much as the nice amount of solder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, I'm pretty confident with that. At least I can delude myself into thinking that's probably good enough. But we won't know until we check continuities, which is, I believe, the next step. So make sure none of them protrude more than 2 millimeters so that they don't hit the bottom of the PCB, or hit the case rather. And that one, well, you know what? Looking at that now, I am not happy with it at all. Let's do that. Let's try this again. Yeah, I'm not happy with that at all. I'm going to crank up the heat a bit higher here. because I just don't think that's getting hot enough. Yeah, not really happy with this. So bear with me here while I fiddle, and I'm going to cut this down a bit more because it's pretty tall and there's still some of the enamel in that section. So let's cut this off. All right, let's see how our continuity looks. I don't like the look of the solder, but let's check continuities before we heat up the board any further. So let me get my continuity testerizer out. And we're just going to follow the directions here. So we should have continuity between here and here. Yay. And here. Yay. And let's see here. Here. And here. Let me make sure. Oh. There we go. Okay, just a bad touch point here, but okay. Yep, those are the right points. So we've got continuity everywhere. I'm going to stop heating this board further, and I'm going to trim this just a little bit more. Actually, oh yeah, we're good. We're good. All right. I do see something I could trim here though. All right, so that's it. T1 is installed, folks, and that was pretty easy as compared to, you know, some of the other. There won't light again. It says device is too hot. Yeah, so I need to get some separate lighting. So that'll be a future upgrade for the channel. I think having the non-shaky cam is good for now. So that's that for T1. So thank you for watching. So far we're at 19 minutes. I'm sorry this is a longer video, but we're doing a full wind and the installation on this one. And this is worth spending the time on. I'm not even going to edit this one because I think it's important that you guys see the whole entire process. Although I think I did make 2 here. I'll try to keep this one shorter, but we'll see what happens in editing. Anyway, so if you stuck on for this whole time, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I hope that these videos are helpful to you. And I know that not everybody got a QCX or QDX rather that wanted one. So hopefully these will also be really helpful for the next round, which are going to be just slightly different. But I know Hans has some updates for the PCB in mind already. But most of these things will be the same, I believe. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one, which is going to be L12. Okay, see you for L12 in the next installment.